Greetings one and all to this week's episode of 10 o'clock. I am Xeno. I am joined by my regular co-host, Murder Dr. Loz. And we have our supporter guest this week. What do you want to go by? BigBeardBear?
Yeah, we can go by that.
Cool. I'm just going to call you... Yeah, I'm going to stick with Bear for now. I'm
cool with that too.
Yep. So we've got BigBeardBear. I want to say on the line, because I think you are coming through your phone. So
yes.
just the irony. And so we are here to talk about Warframe. So as we start every week, we're going to go straight into emblems. Right. So first thing I just want to point out, you may or may not have realized, A, the audio sounds a little different from me, and B, I'm in a completely different environment. The lighting's not so great, blah, 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 blah. And one of the big things I forgot to do was get an emblem. So Loz,
you ruin everything.
Yeah, and?
You ruin everything.
I'll make it up to you one day.
Fine, by punishment, these are now both Loz's. You must deliver 2 next week.
Done.
Bah,
that's what I was intending to do. These are both Loz's. These are both Loz's. However, Bear, please, using your own criteria, which one is your pick of the week? Which is the winner for this week, and why?
I'm gonna have to go with the quote Xeno's find for this week. Just because it speaks to my inner edgelord. But I also like the design of it with the red glow, I guess you would call it.
I like it too.
So with Loz's second choice here,
yeah,
I cannot read that writing. Like, it's really cleverly etched out, right? But I can't read it at all.
Really?
I can't tell if that. Yeah, no, I can't.
I was taking a closer look at it, and it looks like it says Unum underneath it.
Yes.
Oh, that would make a lot more sense. Yeah, it's sorry. I completely lose it after the A. Yeah, so the Unum. Okay, so that's an N, right? Got it. Cool. But if you wish to win 75 platinum for your platform of choice, go into the description below where you'll find this week's polls. Fill it out, put in which emblem you think is the winner. I mean, clearly it's Loz's, and you will be entered in for a chance to win 75 platinum. Make sure you spell your in-game name correct, because otherwise, you might miss out. Right, let's move on. So, Loz, do you want to put away the? Cool. Right. So, moving on to Dojo Dusting. I think that's a 3. So. We have some platinum winners from the last 2 polls. Yeah. So we got Portal Puma on PC. I'm not making up that animal. John E. Walker Cop on PlayStation. Ildanis on Xbox, and Tucker Wins on Switch. He definitely does this week.
Good old Tucker wins.
Tucker wins. Right. Cool. So. Also the second episode of the Kanpai Cast came out technically today, the day of recording this. However, it was actually last Friday for everyone that's watching this. You can find that. I'll put a link in the description. I think I was supposed to put a link in the description last time, but I failed to do it. So I'll put a link in the description this time. And yeah, cool. I can't think of anything else Dojo Dusting wise. Oh, we're going to take a bit of a break during the course of September for guests, so I can organize it properly for like October, November, and December and things. So yeah, during September we'll be a little bit light on guests.
For Kanpai Cast or 10 o'clock?
No, for 10 o'clock.
Oh, 10 o'clock. Oh, okay, cool. But we'll still be doing the show.
Yeah.
We never stop.
We'll never stop. until one of us gets run over by truck. Right.
Space trucks.
Space truck. Anyway. Right, so let's move on. Do you want to? Is there anything War Report related, or are we just going to skip straight to the dev stream?
There was a dev stream.
So-
I'm pretty sure all the cool things that would normally go into the War Report this week will basically be in the dev stream. Things like the weekends and the patches upcoming. So let's just do it in the dev stream.
Cool. Right. So the topic for this week is DevStream 156.
And so we begin.
And so we begin this fateful stuff. So all three of us watched it, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to give a brief? This is how we felt, and then we'll go into it. We'll deep dive into it.
I think Bear should go first.
So just a brief how you felt about it, Bear.
Like, I don't know necessarily how I felt about this dev stream. Like, there was some stuff that I liked seeing that they gave us a little bit of information on, but then there was stuff that I was just like, eh? So, a little bit of mixed feelings on this dev stream, but I know that they're going all in on the new war, so I can't give them, too much crap for not showing enough.
Loz?
I like to refer to this as dev stream holding pattern. Gonna keep going round and round and round in circles until we're eventually ready to deploy the patch. Do you know what holding pattern is?
Yeah. It's where a plane will fly around the airport.
So until the places for it available to land, yeah. So,
Yes.
I
Loz,
like this.
I did watch Die Hard 2.
Good man. Repeatedly.
Yes.
So I did enjoy bits of this dev stream. There were some really cool announcements or bits and pieces they've told us about that's coming, and the Ghoul Saw finally being demonstrated is great fun. But the absence of Steve did kind of temper the expectations. And then it's like, Scott, what are you doing? I'm sitting in the corner, not being able to tell you about anything that I'm doing. And then we even had the things like the question of, will there actually be, the kind of question we want to know, because we're getting a big quest, is there going to be legacy content? I think the term we like to use, from the quest. We can't tell you about that. Oh, fudge. Just at least say there will be. I know they tacitly implied there would be, but it's like, yes. Yeah, I've been waiting on this dev stream from after TennoCon to finally hear Steve let his hair down a bit and tell us some cool stuff. Like, watch him geek out about all the cool stuff. He doesn't have to say it, but he can say how amazing it's going to be, and you can feel it. You can just drain the energy from him by watching him go mad about how awesome it's going to be. But instead, this just felt like an expansion of the TennoCon, or a kind of just dragging on a bit. It just was just a bolt on. It didn't feel like it wasn't the seeing as I was disappointed by the TennoCon, now the first dev stream back, and I'm just a bit disappointed. It's not their fault, but I'm just like, yeah. We're on a one note thing. There we go. That's my short definition of it.
Short.
Yes. All of that.
Okay, well, I will also be short. I was kind of disappointed. There's some cool stuff in it, but yeah, well, pretty much what Loz said, but shorter. Right, should we move into the topic then?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So, Devstream Dusting, the gang minus Steve, poor loss of Steve, went over a few of the current events, Umbral Former, Nora's Choice, and the Prime Vault. Steve's absence means that the conspiracy surrounding his silence only deepens, as Loz has stated.
Yes.
On the topic of the Prime Vault, there is a potential change in the form of an event to get access to more vaulted content. No specifics were given as yet. So I think it's because certain platforms have a deficiency of specific primed warframes.
Well, no, yeah, we're getting to the point that there's so many warframes in the game, and the vaulted pool only gets larger every time they vault something. So that means it's longer for something to come out of the vault as each 3 months, because another thing is now shoved in there for it to compete with.
Yeah.
So
I think Void Keys
Mm.
or pre relics. Loki was the last thing to come out of the vault.
Ooh.
So because he was the last thing added to the Void Keys before the relic system came in, and took the mages to bring him back. Anyway, in the wake of the failed TennoCon relay, a test was run on the dev stream to allow players to experience it properly. DE build this as a this as a stress test to try and ensure that the next Tenno Live would not experience the same issues. For the new war, we have been told to pay attention to the quest section where it says to be continued. There was no further info on the subject though. DE are full on with the work. They are not doing anything else, and they may share a little content later, maybe in another dev stream. Starting this week, for all of September and October, yes, it was October as well, yeah.
Yep.
It will be a booster weekend, double affinity, and double credits alternating every week until October ends. This is not an indicative of the release of the new war. However, for me, it's a clear sign that new war ain't coming out before November.
I honestly feel at the end of October, they will say that we are rerunning Scarlet Spear.
I kind of hope they do.
Yep, I'm expecting a December release. If not next year no, they said this year, didn't they? So yeah, I'm expecting December or end of November. That's when we're getting.
Though I will say,
yeah,
I like if they turn around and say like we kind of want to push it back until like January or February, right? Just do it. Like look at the clusterfuck of a launch that.
Oh yeah, over Christmas, yeah.
No. I'm going to say Cyberpunk 2077, and it's still not in a great place. Anyway, do you have any thoughts on this, Bear, before we continue?
I agree with y'all that it's going to be like somewhere in between, like mid to late November to before Christmas vacation in December.
Would you be okay if it slipped till next year?
I mean, we waited this long, so what's a little longer, you know? How I kind of see it is, as long as they give us what they envisioned what the new war is going to be, and to not have like this hot, buggy mess on release. So
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I would have done a complete 180 on this before. If they turn around and said, right, we need till May next year because we found some horrendous bugs, I'd be like, just do it. Just take the time. Because seriously, look at Warcraft 3 Reforged, look at I'm sure you've heard of the controversy of Diablo 2 recently.
No.
A little bit, not a lot.
So, Diablo 2, one of the core features of the game was got direct connections to different players, so you didn't have to go through Battle.net.
Yeah.
Right? They've taken it out. Yeah. And loads of people were like, oh, I was going to make my mods for Diablo 2 Remastered. So, and like, yeah, the whole thing is just completely gone. And yeah, so like, I'd much rather DE go like, yeah, we need more time. We thought we could get this done in time, but to make this great, we have to pull back. I'd much rather than pull back.
I sorry, I'm just surprised by this. I didn't know about this about Diablo 2, but it just shows how stupid they are. It's like, right, we redid the Warcraft 3 Battle.net for Warcraft 3 Reforged. They have actually lost functionality still that has not been re-added. Things like, I think, clan support and league support is still not on the Warcraft 3 Reforged method. So by putting it in, they've actually reduced content to that game. Now, Diablo 2, you got Diablo 3 if you want to play online. That is the fully online run, right? So people love Diablo 2 for just, doing all this crazy stuff. Literally, people will buy it if you go, look, we're just being true and faithful to the Diablo 2 experience. Bam. You can do whatever you want with it. There's the game. Mod it, do whatever you want. People are like, oh my God! Instead, they're going to be like, oh no, you have to be online.
Well, I think the problem the big reason why they did it, and they're not saying this is the reason, is because effectively you could play the game right on the original code without having to buy it, because you could just play with other people with effectively pirated copies over TCP/IP connections.
Yeah.
So they're gone like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. No, you've just realized that people won't have to buy the game. So you just
if you did do it as a good release, and to get patches you had to sign, I don't know, they could tie the patches and updates into the launcher, and you had to have a proper copy, maybe. Then there's that. But the thing is, people are now going to buy it less, not more, because of this. I'm now done. I'm just like, no, this is stupid.
But anyway, let's go back to Warframe.
Yay!
So the next thing was they showed off the new deluxe skin for Revenant, the Mephisto skin designed by Debbie Sheen. This will drop in the next update, and it will comes with a deluxe two-handed Nakana skin and a mask for the and diadem accessory for the operator, and a full wrap Syandana that Reb seemed to enjoy showing off. I also thought they said something about the two-handed Nakana skin also working for regular Nakanas. I'm not entirely sure. But Loz is like, fashion. I don't know how that works.
No, actually, I was going to say I really like this because they finally... It's the Syandana type they promised years ago. You know, that would actually be like a scarf that would go around the neck.
Right.
And, you know, that I think it was a Vault one we saw originally, and they never delivered on it. And this one finally does. It's really cool. It works with both the normal, the special edition Premium Revenant and the base Revenant. And I assume Revenant Prime whenever that comes out. I think it's really cool. Yeah, it's nice. It kind of is... That should have been I suppose that should be an auxiliary, though, rather than a Syandana. It only works on that character, so...
How do you know it only works on that character?
Because they were specially mentioning about how it works on the normal Revenant. If it was like, it works on any frame, then they'd be like, look at this frame, and look at this frame. I think you still get the Syandana bit, but you don't get the whole neck bit.
Maybe. Right.
What did you...
Ben?
Yeah.
Sorry, Bear, rather.
For the Revenant Deluxe skin, like, I like the scarf on it, but I feel like the main body was a little too bland.
Yes.
But that could also be part of like the color choices that was used on the base skin. And like, I noticed when Rebecca was, you know, randomly colorizing the skin, it just, something about the body felt a little off to me.
I completely agree with you. When you remove the Syandana, yeah?
Yeah.
I think this was honestly designed only with the Syandana being on as designed, you know, to cover up the lack of detail on the front. And then when you take it off, because they went, hey, let's put this cool feature in, you can take it off. And it's like, they really needed to put more detailing underneath that is hidden normally for it to work. Otherwise, it literally is just white the whole way down. I mean, on the base form, it's just like, okay. I mean, you got all the definition of like the crazy. I think Sheldon called it an 8-pack or 12-pack or whatever, like muscles and the massive package. But it needed metal attachment. You know, something to split up and add more color to it, because it was just like, I am one color person. You know, it's just the whole way down. It's like, okay. Maybe you could fix it by like having chest armor and things. Maybe that would help.
Maybe.
Moving on. This will be released. Yeah, sorry. The deluxe skin will be released in update 30.7. The update will include changes to corrupted hollow keys, improvements to the Lich Thrall system, Ureli's next round of minor buffs, drop changes to items like the Ambassador Rifle, Harrow systems and neuroptics changes. I think that's primarily drop changes, and apparently over 100 other fixes. I didn't know Harrow was such a problem.
I have been avoiding the memes, but literally there has been a Harrow, is it Systems? Yeah, there's been a Harrow Systems meme, a different meme, almost every week, and I just don't add them on. We could have had a Harrow Systems meme from memeframe, r/memeframe every week. They keep making memes about it.
Where does the systems drop from?
Good question. Do you know better?
The only one that I can think is the common one that drops from doing relics.
I can only assume that that's the chassis. Warframe wiki arrow.
I'm not even typing.
What? What do you mean you're not even
I was
typing?
trying to beat you, but I'm like, right, I've got my magical hyper digital BR keyboard out. I'll beat him to it, and I'm like, I said, aha, he's only started searching, whereas I have finished typing. Push go. Haven't typed anything.
Trying to find the drop locations. Wiki?
So, chassis? Wait, what?
The chassis blueprint is acquired from defeating Void Fisher enemies. The Neuroptics blueprint is a rotation seal of the Spy Vaults on Pago and Kuva Fortress, and the systems blueprint is the defection missions on rotations B and C. Like, I remember the systems being the hardest to get, but it was so easy doing it solo.
Yeah, maybe that's what people don't realize, is that it's easy to defection solo rather than the team.
Well, I mean, I don't think people do defection, period. I don't think people like defection.
I like defection.
I like defection. It's interesting, it's different, but they don't accommodate for it in any of the keys or, you know, in the relics, in anything.
If something doesn't get to be opening relics, it's considered, let's be fair, it's just
stuff.
Yeah. It's fun and a bit different, but yeah.
What do you think of defection, Ben? Bear. God, why am I stuck with Ben in your head? I don't know. I don't
even know any Bens. We've had a Ben.
But for defection, like, I like playing it every once in a while. It's not one of my go-to game modes. But I think I haven't tried it solo, but normally when I play it, it's with like a puppy group. So like there are some people that you know get into a group with that are like, oh well, we got to go hardcore and try to get everybody, and then there are some that just kind of like don't necessarily know what to do while playing defection. Like, I mean, obviously, you escort the people to the endpoint, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's because of like the enemy types that you're going against, or if it's just, I guess, like not a good reward rotation to, the groups that you end up saving. So
I reckon it's just going to be. No, I hate escort quests. Escort quests suck. They are the worst. Fuck you, Bronzebeard. You fucking ruined my life. I genuinely think it's because of the AI of the people that you're escorting, and I think it would probably be accepted a lot more if you could pick up the NPCs, much like you can pick up your friends.
Can you
or the rescue targets. No. I think you can do it once and that's it.
Oh, right.
Otherwise, like, if they fall over a second time, they just insta-die.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of weird,
Yeah.
Again, so the bleed out timer, maybe it gets smaller and smaller and smaller each time, but don't just give them one and that's it. Seems a bit much.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with Infested Salvage. I love Infested Salvage. How much Infested Salvage have you done, Bear?
Probably when it first came out, and then I haven't touched it since. But
So
I'm willing to go back to it and play a couple rounds to see what it's like now.
because the big thing for me is I like out of the three. Sorry, oh God, I haven't actually said what the third one is. The disruption one with the the amalgams coming at the pylons to blow them. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's disruption,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's the one I like the least, right? And yet that's the one that got picked up by the community. I'd much rather do infested salvage.
Yeah, there's more maps. The thing is, Infested Salvage had 2 tiles for the actual combat tile, the key one on it, which was just sad. It was kind of linked into, maybe it'll make a comeback because it was supposed to be linked to George's Verdict.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. But the other issue is that the rewards on them, the same thing for Defection, is that they just don't tie in with the main thing. You might see in the footage, I don't know if I do any today, but I actually really enjoy going, I want to open relics today. Shall I just do normal relic opening, or should I do Railjack relic opening? And I love having that choice, because they give different game variety. And the Railjack one, I remember I did talk about the rewards back in the when it first came out and thought, oh, they're a bit lacking. I actually really enjoy them now. It's nice knowing that I'll get a big pile of endo, I'll get some mods, I'll get a Railjack component, and I'll get to open a relic and maybe something else. It just throws stuff at you. It's like, wow, okay, it's all right. It's all right. So that's what they need to give for Defection. It needs to be tied back in. It does reward you, but it doesn't reward you with modern stuff or tie-ins of stuff that you're going to want to do continuously. Same thing with Infested Salvage. We need Infested Salvage on more tiles. That's the same thing.
Agreed.
You've also missed the other game mode, which is just kind of bleh, which they never did more with, which was Hijack.
Yeah,
Which
that
has
was
2
kind
types.
of blur.
No, but potential.
Oh, it does. Actually, no, to be fair, I prefer the Corpus one, and I completely forgot about that.
I like the variety. I think they're both great, but they could be used for more things. You could use them in mini quests. You could use them in sorties. I don't think they pop up in sorties. They could use them in sorties. They could be done for tactical alerts. That's anything.
I'm pretty sure they are using sorties.
Fair enough if they're using sorties, but
they do, because if they have the nullifier bubble around them,
okay.
So you can't just chill on them and use abilities while you're transporting the load.
Well, that's at least something. I can give it that,
But
it's just
just add them to the relic system. Just add it to the relic system. I'd love to see. But the problem is, because people, there's no reason at this point in time to do those different mission types, because they don't link into the relic system or any other system.
The Kuva system. I mean, could you mind doing hijack Kuva missions? That'd be interesting.
Yeah. You should, the hijack thing is a Kuva thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Giant Kuva thing that you're moving out. Yeah, add variety.
The more damage it takes, the less Kuva you get at the end.
Yeah. And then for the you could get the Corpus hijack and use it as a special random mission that you can do for your sister Parvos that will give you a load of information on it'll complete the next thing and give you some holokeys. There you go. But it's random if it appears as a mission. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Right, moving on. The Ghoul's Saw. Oh god. The Ghoul Saw was finally shown in game with its own stance, Butcher's Revelry.
Yeah, well done.
Right. And will come in update 30.7. They took the time to show this off in mission with Rhino, with the sound design and the combo being demonstrated. The combos include the gap closer, where you ride the saw. God damn, I keep wanting to say Zor. The saw, and forward combo that simply holds it in front of you and lets you run to enemies, and the heavy attack, which only revs the blade for high damage. So how do we feel about this saw, this chainsaw?
I think it's an interesting addition to the game. I know it's been long sought after by the community. Whether or not it will become one of the go-to weapons or not, I mean, obviously we don't know. We don't have it in our hands to play around with, but I mean, I'm interested in seeing where they go with it and seeing if maybe they do like a corpus version or an infested sentient version. So, we can only see where it goes from here. But I'm kind of excited. I'm ready to, rip into some enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? Has what are the combos? It was rip and something.
Rip and tear. Rip and tear.
Why did they call it rip and tear?
Wasn't it not called rip and tear?
No, I wish it was called rip and tear. It wasn't, and that was my point.
Maybe they're trying to be close without potentially copyright issues. Maybe they're very cautious. Maybe they like, yeah, but we don't want to go. We all know, wink, wink. But just careful.
I mean, it is Microsoft,
yeah.
So
so they're like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, but no, yeah, no.
How do you feel about the Saw, Loz?
I think it's gonna be amazing. Interesting. As Bear was saying, is it going to be a meta weapon? And I hope it's not. But the thing is, though, I know if it isn't, people will whinge. So I'm hoping it isn't that great. But it's fun because I almost feel like the play style with it will be different because you can just, your movement, any frame you get to use it on has movement now, has cool heavy attacks. The sounds was amazing, big swings and sweepy, unlike like, oh look, I've got some daggers. It's like, oh, whoosh, 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 bzz, bzz. It was different and unique. And I thought, wow. So I'm hoping it's just decent, but not meta-defining. But the interesting thing is, Bear was just alluding there to, yeah, they did say that this is the first new grip type since Nikanas, I think?
The two-handed Nikanas.
So, yeah, so in theory, they're not going to... I thought maybe this would just be a one-off, but then if they've made a whole new grip type, which, to be fair, looked like just the Arcwing grip type, because I'm pretty sure it's just the Arcwing gun grip. But obviously, it actually has different animation sets, I suppose, from it. But it just looked like okay, I'm holding an arc gun, but maybe that's when they'll change all arc melee weapons into giant sword. Makes sense, actually. Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of it, but there's... It felt really slow and clunky, which I think is going to be a turn-off from the community. I think... The community is going to react negatively towards the fact of how slow it is, so they're going to want, we don't like this.
They were probably using an unmodded one. That probably is the.
They did say it was
they were.
unmodded. So, but then it's a case of like, oh no, modded. It's like 50 times faster. I'm like, and that's because why? Why is it so? So I think. One thing that I really feel that this would make the weapon for me is that effectively you could stun enemies with it. Like you could, if you were to run and charge the saw at enemies, you could stun them into death, kind of thing. Does that make sense? Instead of just well, basically, yeah, but you can't do anything else while you're bloody hacking this thing to death with a circular saw. Oh, you can't do anything else.
But can you take damage still?
Yes.
So you basically stun locking yourself and one enemy, what you're saying?
Yes.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It just to give the weapon a different bit of a niche.
Yes, I'm all for weapon niches, and this it cries out for unique stuff. But they already have given it the movement mechanic. At least there's something.
Yeah, I mean, one question I have is, can you mod for how long you're on that, or
you're going to be able to? No, you're going to.
Or can you like come off it sooner? Because that was one thing I noticed. Rebecca seemed to be on it for like the same duration, regardless.
But she was in a tiny corridor, so I think she was just timing it to get off so she didn't hit the wall. I think. Hard to say. That's why it'd be great to see it on the planes and see if you can just go ripping along the whole planes on it. That'd be badass.
Yeah. You screw K-Drive, now I have chainsaw. Right.
K-Drive skin when?
Didn't they say something about making it a K-Drive skin?
Did they? Nice.
At one point?
That may have been a joke. may have been a joke, but right. Plaguestar is returning after more than a year in update 30.7. This is where you will gain the Ghoul Saw and stance, plus all the standard rewards. Be sure to stock up on pre-built Former. The launch is the 8th of September and finishes on the 30th. Coincidentally, this confirms the date for 30.7 to be September 8th. What?
Yeah, so we know we're getting 30.7 on the 8th of September.
Oh, sorry, the launch. Yeah, okay, I'm with you now. How are you guys feeling about Plaguestar coming back?
I actually like playing Plaguestar, not only for the format, but just for like the gameplay loop. I feel like it's a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like interactive, I guess. But I mainly run it just to get my free format.
I have a request for DE. Can we please have some of the like resources from Deimos appear on Plaguestar as well?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make so much sense.
So I still have to get the brother part for doing the, is it invigorate?
Yeah.
Of your warframes, which means I still have to rank up. And in order to rank up, I have to make this vial. And in order to make this vial, I have to farm a bunch of fish. And if there's anything I really don't want to do on Deimos, it's anything on Deimos. So if we could actually get the resources on from Plaguestar, I think that would be a huge plus.
I think it would make sense because it would be that the Plaguestar came from Deimos, which would a little bit lore. It makes sense. So it's just the infested you killed had dropped Deimos, or even just a chance of dropping Deimos stuff. And anyone who hadn't reached Deimos yet, like anyone who's playing the plains, would be able to get a few bits and pieces for Deimos, which is always a good thing. Yeah. You've got something there. Yeah. Or hell, I would even take an exchange shop for Deimos stuff. Like, hey, I found all this stuff. Have you been killing Plaguestar? Well, trade off for me, you know. If the part of the goal that they said in this was to get everyone to the new war ready, part of that's going to be get Necromex, get Deimos stuff done. Why not give people a helping hand with that? But then saying that, actually, you know, you might notice there's a lot of footage. I do play a lot of Deimos these days. I have softened a bit on it. I still think it's terrible and designed poorly. But the biggest thing about it is just don't do the open world, the low level, the bounties that are not the vaults. They're just pointless. I don't even know. Maybe they've got some special reward. People are like, oh, you need them for this. Like, no, just don't do them. Just do still isolation vaults and just walk around in Deimos. And
isolation vaults.
Just that. Just job done.
Yeah, but like the problem for me is I have to fish. And
Oh, the fishing is the worst on there, but you just take an Avara.
Yeah. Why?
Because you're invisible permanently.
That's not my problem.
Oh?
My problem is like all the fucking orange crap in the sky.
Oh, turn down particle tax. And take an Oxacyst with you.
What's an Oxacyst?
It's the Sentinel that gives you permanent luminescent dye on fish. But you want to take an Avara as well, because that way the mobs don't go at you every 2 seconds.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But
tell me when you're gonna do it, because we'll do it together. Because I need to do a lot of
that.
But yeah, no rush. No, we'll do more.
At earliest this week. At earliest.
Yeah, just let me know.
Right,
I need to record footage all the time.
It's true. Right.
In fact, I think it got cut off on this footage at the start. Today, I actually on this footage, which I recorded on Monday for us, just gone. I unlocked the first brother segment. The
helmet one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm working towards that next one now. For the longest time, I'm like, and do you know the only reason I did it?
What?
So I could sacrifice a Protea to give the dispenser to my Excalibur so he could respawn Sentinels. That's the only reason I did it. And now I can respawn my Sentinel, which is ridiculous because while I was farming whatever for it, I go to the Valis and my death cube just blows up at some point. I'm like, oh great, that's great. Now I can respawn it.
Right. So let's move on. Wait. What part were we talking about?
We just finished talking about Plaguestar and the Tenno Live Relay.
Did I ask Bear how you felt about Plaguestar?
Yeah, like former.
Yeah.
Cool. That was it.
Oh, sorry. One thing before we move on, sorry. I would say, I think it's sad that they don't bring Plaguestar back more, right? They tried to do something, they did Plaguestar, and it was brilliant. It's like, this should come back every 6 months on a clock. Then they did Valis, and they added the Thermia Fractures, which come back, I don't know, every other week? And they're
come back
just
really
like
regularly.
pitiful. The rewards they give are pitiful, whereas Plaguestar gives decent rewards, but never comes back. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what? I'd much prefer Plaguestar on a 6-month timer, and Thermia Fractures can just go away for years and years. They're useless. So missed opportunity.
I think Thermia Fractures are needed for
Exploiter.
Oh god, is it Baruch?
Exploiter.
Is it well, is it?
Yep, to get the summon token things.
Oh, there you go then. So yeah, you need No, I'm totally with you though. I definitely think that Plaguestar should be on a fixed thing. I mean, I'd even say like, oh yeah, summer, right? For a month, for 2 months, right? There you go. There's Plaguestar, right? So anyway. Right, next, the Tenno Live Relay launched at the half-hour mark, and this one worked flawlessly, although the traffic was lower than TennoCon.
Yeah.
This showed off Nidus Prime, the Tenno Classroom on the Zeramen, Ballas and the Ballas and Natarsi, the Lotus and the Warframes, standing over the Dax, the second Dream Scene, Umbra versus the Sentients, the Devourer, and the Devourer scene. Was that there during TennoCon? This is the one where they were floating around in space.
Yeah, it was just a ship. They just showed the ship.
Right, okay.
But without the floating around, it doesn't feel the same. It's like, oh wow, we're floating around it. It's really cool.
And again, I don't remember the Grineer Galleon being in the mouth of the Devourer at TennoCon.
I think they just brushed over it because they were like, oh, here's the ship we showed in the art panel.
Right, okay. And then finally, the Strange Mirror that spoke to Teshin in the New War demo. So, I don't know, I'm not one for wanting to linger on this. I think it's cool. I never got to experience it because I'm down at my folks right now. So, do you guys want to say anything before we move on?
I didn't manage to get back. I was watching on my phone Twitch, but I didn't manage to get back and do it in time. Did you get to go to it, Bear?
Yeah, I was on the PS4 version of it, and it was cool to see like up close, but I feel like in the relays when they were showing it off, like there wasn't enough like space for you to see like what was fully going on because you had all the other people there trying to, get in as close as possible and see what's going on. So
I will say it did look like Megan was struggling to see the classroom scene because it just looked like everyone was just crowding it and like, can I see? Can I? No. Oh, okay.
I think last year's one was much better because all of the things were up on plinths. Like they did the necromants. The necromants were either in a diorama or on a plinth, and then they did the Vass, the giant snake things. Like, oh wow, look at the giant snake above us. That's really cool. So it wasn't just look at this thing that's right in front of you, and everyone goes, oh wow, that's nice. Let us all crowd around.
Yeah.
Moving on, Nidus Prime was previewed in game again. With his prime weapons being the Strung Prime and the Magnus Prime. Nidus has a very actively named Syandana.
Animated.
Actively animated. Shush you. Shush. I know what I said, right? The Crinoid Prime Syandana, also known as the Bum Tickler. It did look like it. It really did, right? Nidus will also have a Necromech skin with his Prime Access called the Carolith. Carnolith.
That's an
Skin
M.
plus. That's an N. Karn.
No, that's an M. I think.
That's an. Loz, you're looking through it through windscreen doors,
Yeah, that's probably true.
right?
Yep.
They're
They're pretty good, but they can't tell an R and an N from an M.
Skin plus the infested orbiter cosmetic scene. Like the Christmas scene. First off, I didn't actually know the Christmas scene worked the way they showed off during the thing, because I refused to actually put that on my set.
Uh-huh.
Right? So, one, I learned something today. Two, I actually quite like the idea of the infested skin. And
I know Zru will be happy. Hey,
right? But that necromech skin. Oh, that look good. That beefy. That
is my money.
I think they did really good on that.
Just take my money. It's like I don't care that everyone's necromech is going to look the same. I'm like, I don't care. That's what they should have looked like all along. So good.
But,
so stompy.
Cool. Valkyr's second deluxe concept was previewed. The sculpt is in progress. The design appears to have similar themes to a few of the other recent deluxe skins, with the energy channel cut out like Ember and a large jacket over the shoulders and arms that is backless. Attention was drawn to the metal tail and the stone effect objects on the hips, plus the heavy muscle definition. Jeff was teased about his love for Guilty.
Yep.
Okay, fine. Jeff was teased about his love for the Guilty Gear animations, and a suggestion was made about making Valkyr eligible for the Jacko challenge that is currently very popular. This being reference to the Jacko's crouching animation in game and how unusual it is. I've got to be honest, I'm actually really thankful for DE to actually explain this, because I've been seeing this thing literally everywhere. I have no fucking idea what it was, right? Until Rebecca brought this up. I was trying to find out what the hell it was, and but none of the artists were actually referencing the challenge.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So actually, to be fair, one artist did, but his name is also Jack. So I actually just thought that it was just him referencing himself or something. I didn't yeah, anyway. But yeah, so regardless of the Guilty Gear thing, how do you guys feel about the previewed
Drip Valkyr?
At first, I thought it was like some kind of like Hildren skin, just because it looked very similar to Hildren.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that it said Valkyr up top, I was like, okay, Valkyr needs a little love. Like the only thing that I ask as like part of the community is that Valkyr gets some kind of a rework to her ability kit, because her ability kit is extremely outdated. So if you're trying to bring a frame back into the light, it shouldn't be because of a skin.
So,
but if you were to wanted to give an excuse to finally sort something out, here's a cool skin, and we've made it cooler at the same time. Double reason to try it. I mean, it's if not now, then when?
But
right.
Regardless, I want to follow where Bear's going with this. So, as a casual normie Oberon player, what is the problem with Valkyr's kit? Because I remember back in the day, she was like top dog of survivability. So, what's the problem with Valkyr as she is?
Well, there's her one rip line where it's not really useful for anything, even with an augment. But then her bread and butter war cry, now that you're able to kind of put that on every other frame through the helmet system, it just kind of takes her niche and kind of sweeps her under the rug. But like her 4 is fine. Her 2 is it's there.
What's her 2? What's her 2?
Believe it, like it strips away your shields, but it also stuns enemies in a specific area if they're in front of you. But other than that, it doesn't really do anything except give allies buffs if they're in the area too. I can't remember exactly which buff it is. I want to say like attack speed.
So Valkyria discharges a shield, stunning and damaging enemies within 10 meters, draining 33% of her current shields. Affect enemies that are dealt Valkyria's current shield multiplied by 350% impact damage. Shield discharge has knockback. Damage multiplier. Blah, 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 blah. Just stunned enemies are vulnerable to finisher attacks. I don't think it over shields can. No, I don't think it buffs anyone. It just does.
Then I might be thinking of Warcry.
I mean, yeah, I think yeah, Warcry is the thing. Yeah, I mean, paralysis is just kind of. If I was to give something to Helminth, I think it should either been Ripline or paralysis, because Warcry is her, as you said, bread and butter. You know, it's really useful, really cool buff. You know, it does for allies, so that was her thing. And as you say, yeah, you can just give that to anyone. It's like, okay, right. Whereas, like, for instance, I think that Rhino's is raw, which again is a buff, but then Rhino has other things in his kit. His stomp is really useful. His armor is really useful. Whereas, like, it's like, oh yeah, you can go invincible.
Yeah,
maybe need to have some more synergy here, so that if you paralyze, if you use Ripline, then paralyze, or if you Ripline a paralyzed person, or paralyze something while hysteric, you know, it all needs to link together better, I think. Or maybe Warcry needs to do more for Valkyria over the one that other people can have.
Like a diminished returns kind of thing.
I meant that if you hysteria Warcry, or you know, when you the more targets you paralyze, and then Warcry does a massive debuff to enemies, but only if you're Valkyria doing Warcry, whereas other people doing Warcry won't have that part of the ability. Yes, it's very diminished.
Gotcha.
I mean, you're still getting that really cool buff, but I see what you mean, but it just needs to. She needs to do more. There's no synergy between his abilities. They're just all unique things, and I think Ripline's the worst. Isn't Ripline's like augment, like you become Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a reduction in cast amount. So it's
Ripline augment. After using a Ripline, the next 4 Riplines will have no energy cost while airborne. Like that needs more. There needs to be more than just that. That is hilarious.
What does Ripline do not normally?
All it does is grapples an enemy, pulls into Valkyrie's location, does some slash damage. If Ripline is successfully cast within a window of 1 second after the previous cast, its damage is multiplied by 200%. And that's about it, really.
1 second window.
Yep. If you double Ripline something, it does more. That's about it. And it can pull Valkyria around like a web shooter, but that's about it.
I feel that she that there was a missed opportunity with that, where it's like, oh yeah, you could have this thing where, you know, if you double tap Ripline, instead of actually pulling yourself to them and what have you, you rip their weapon out of their hands and give them a fear debuff.
Yeah, and I can see that they focus on just Hysteria. Hysteria has 2 augments. All the others only have 1, and they're kind of meh. Like the Warcry one extends Warcry's duration for each melee kill, meh. And the Paralysis one increases Paralysis's stun duration, as well as slowly pulling affected enemies towards her. They're really uninspired. They really are. I see what Bear's talking about. They're all outdated. They're just insular, and just there's no overlapping or interesting mechanics or where you could thread that together in cool combinations. There's nothing there really. It's all just this, you know. Yep.
Yeah, we'll certainly hope she can get a rework for her upcoming skin then.
Hate to put you on the spot, but if you could come up with an augment that you would want right now, Bear, for Valkyr, what would you do?
It's probably something with like part of the other augment where it kind of like pulls in enemies since she is a melee based frame. And claws don't have the greatest range either, so maybe something like that. But other than that, I really can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay, how about Ripline pulls all targets within a 90-degree cone in front of her up to 50 meters to her.
I'd be down with that because then you could do like a yeah, because then like you have all the enemies in front of you and you can do either like a heavy attack or just a normal attack and just rip through them since they're in front of you. So
I don't know. A part of me feels like, hell, let's just give Valkyr. Does Valkyr have a exalted weapon?
her claws.
Her claws
Or her
are an
claw.
exalted weapon, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you mod them. Okay, cool. Right. So like, a part of me is like, oh, make an augment for her rip line, which is, yeah, you can, if you hold to give Ripline an alternate fire mode. So like instead of tapping one to do Ripline stuff, you can hold one, and you swap to, instead of having claws, you actually have a whip for an exalted weapon.
Exalted whip.
Yeah.
Dual exalted whip.
But and the thing is, you can still use it. Like, you don't lose the Ripline ability.
So are we? So kind of like Whiplash from Iron Man 2 kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Kinda, yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just want to point out, because it's always good to check when some of the older frames, because they're so pathetic. Does anyone know what Valkyr's passive is? I want to take a guess.
Is it the is that, I can't remember if it's the damage thing or not, or if that's part of Hysteria.
You know
So
I can tell you off the top of my head.
cool.
So
Put him out of his misery.
so was I right?
No.
Oh, then you say it then. I haven't got a clue what it is. Or do you want me to look it up?
No, I've got it right in front of me. I was asking Bear to put you out of your misery.
oh no, I don't. Don't know
Oh, you
off
don't
the top
know?
of my
Sorry,
head.
I misheard. I thought you did. Yeah.
You're fine.
Okay, so all it is Valkyr is able to recover from knockdown 50% faster.
Wow.
Oh, and immune to hard landings. So she can't use heavy impacts.
It's a cat.
It's a cat. That's it. Literally is knockdown recovery 50% faster. That's it. I think we can have another pass on that, please.
Yeah, 100% faster would be better, but you know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Should we move on to the next part?
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't talk about the visual aesthetic of the skin. Are we all good with it?
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see like how the colors work and everything, and what kind of, I guess, gradient they use in certain color channels. So
I'll be honest, I kind of want her more top heavy. Her legs looked really chonky compared to Valkyr's normal legs. So I'd much rather her have her normal legs, and then she's got like the stonk upper body. But we'll see. Right, anyway.
Okay.
Moving on to the next one. An update was requested on the mobile release of Warframe, and it's confirmed that there's no solid release date for it yet, only that it is in progress.
We promise we won't announce things super early anymore. Here's something we've announced super early.
To be honest, a part of me feels like they may have announced that one super early just to see what the community does. off of like the back of things like Diablo Immortal, which I still don't think has been released.
No, it still hasn't been released. I think it's announced to come out next year. But the way they announced, if that was the big reveal of TennoCon, then yes, that would be exactly the same as Diablo Immortal. But they did the sensible thing, which is you announce you're doing the mobile version, but by the way, here's the proper content you want.
Right.
If they literally went, and here's the big reveal for TennoCon, we're doing mobile, bye everyone would be like, we hate you. But instead, we had the meme horrific Carl number and Corpus Man
175
and Session Face.
So I think the notes for this may be wrong.
Right.
The new war was reconfirmed to only be part of the story they're planning, and it's effectively one part of a 3-part story.
You
And it's
missed one.
actually the shoot. I did. Let me. Okay.
You finish that one.
The team were asked. Right. The new war was also reconfirmed to only be one part of the story they're planning. It's effectively part 1 of a 3-part story, and it's actually the shortest part, despite the length of it and how much effort DE are putting into it.
I missed that from the dev stream. Really?
I don't remember them saying that at all. I remember them
I
saying
remember
that.
them.
I remember them saying that. This was Act 1. Right? What we were shown was part of Act 1. But I don't remember them saying that this was going to be separated into 3 separate episodic pieces of content.
I'm not sure if they said it was going to be in like episodic content, but they did say that what we saw at TennoCon was a fraction of what the whole story is.
Yes.
And that this was like a Act 1. So maybe it's like a whole like giant story quest, and they've broken it down into multiple parts because of what you do in each part.
I would like to take the opportunity. Would you guys be all right to pause for us to then go check to see what was verbatim said?
Yep.
Because
pausing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cool. Right. So I checked out what Scott
said.
Xeno? So Scott said that the 45. So the question was raised saying that the 45 minutes of what we've seen at TennoCon basically says that. Sorry, the 30 minutes basically says that the new war is going to be super short. But apparently that's a small part of Act 1 of 3, and Act 1 is the shortest part. They have not said that this is like episode 1 or part 1 or anything. They said acts, which would indicate to me that all 3 acts are in the single quest.
Right, got you.
You know, because like most narratives are 3 acts. Yeah.
It just doesn't help that we've had content with like part 1, part 2 so far for so long. It's just
So
right.
At no point in time did they ever say the word part.
Right.
So I just like the statement put the fear in me, and like I need to check this. I need to check. Right. However, I will jump back to the previous point. Was the team was asked about any new potential systems that could come with the new war, and all that was said is that some new systems, either expansion on existing ones or completely new ones, will be coming. Just confirming that Scott says is enough. What? Just confirming that is enough.
Yeah. But they are tacitly saying, yes, this will have carry-on content like the War Within gave us Rivens, you know, as its carry-on content.
Yeah.
They are saying that there will be that kind of level of stuff, but they are refusing to acknowledge at all what it will be.
Acknowledge or announce?
Acknowledge, announce. Do any further than that? They're just saying yes.
Yeah.
Unlike, I love that people said the example in that Rebecca read out was like the sacrifice quest gave us the Umbral mods, and that was like its content. I'm like, no, that was 3 mods or 4 mods or something. It's like, whoop-de-doo. That is not legacy content from a quest that is ongoing. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Especially the fact it's like, now, Umbral formers everywhere!
Yeah.
It's just getting ridiculous. So it's like, that was not legacy content. Whereas, for instance, Rivens and the whole Kuva missions and Kuva floods and Kuva survivals and re-rolling is proper content, because that lasts you for ages. You know, that's the kind of scale we want, if not more.
Mm-hmm. So my questions to Bear are, how invested are you for the new war?
Really excited to see what happens in the new war. You know, been waiting on it since it's been announced, and with the times that we're going through with, you know, COVID and stuff, I can see how it's put a damper on how much they can get done. But I feel like for how long that it's gone on, and for like some of the, I guess, like, quote unquote minor things, that they should be able to kind of piece it together already and not have us waiting this long for something like that. I mean, if they can put together, you know, Scarlet Spear by working at home and the Ureli quest and stuff like that, what's to say that they can't get the new war done in the same fashion?
So Scarlet Spear was done before before they got shunted home.
I think a lot of it was. I don't think all of it.
Yeah. Because it happened like a couple of weeks into them getting sent home.
Yeah, but the Ureli quest was announced that they started that in January and got it out by like March. It was quite that's one of the reasons why I was actually changed my mind on that quest, because the turnaround on it was actually quite short.
Yeah, but like the Ureli quest is nothing compared to a cinematic quest.
Yeah, I know, but
I'll give you that.
But okay,
but they
cool.
have
But the point
years to work on this quest.
Yes, well, I think if they had previously started working on it, I wouldn't be surprised if they started again.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, and then the next question to you, Bear, you said Ben again, is how important is it to you to have a legacy system for the new war? Do you want just, let's just get the bloody plot over and done with now? Or do you want it to leave something behind that, you know, much like Operators, much like Focus, as Roz said earlier, Rivens, you know, yeah.
Like, I'm kind of like a lore person. Like, I like having the lore and the quest and stuff. And I feel like the legacy items are kind of for funsies in a sense. Like it depends on which legacy item we're talking about. Like if we're talking about Rivens and the Umbral mods, then those are for funsies. But for like the focus system and the operator, I feel like they bring a good addition to the game. Just to give you a slightly different gameplay for different game modes, like Eidolon hunting, Profit Taker, and so on and so forth. So I'm, you know, I'll be kind of reserved on my thoughts for what they kind of do for the legacy content after the new war, but I also hope that it actually does bring like a fun new game mechanic into the game as well. Because we're kind of stuck in doing the same routine of stuff, even with the necromechs and, you know, being able to deploy art guns. It's starting to feel a little repetitive.
Yeah, I to be honest, I think I would just say it feels a little stale as opposed to repetitive because the gameplay for Warframe has been the same ad infinitum. But the problem is that there's been nothing new to sort of freshen it up, you know. So
Well, I would
Mhm.
say they keep adding new ways to play the same game. They don't add a new way to play the game. Sorry, they don't add a new thing for you to use and a new area for you to use it in. They just seem to keep adding. And now you can use art guns in missions. Right, is there a special mission that requires art guns? Profit taker, then nothing else. Okay. Necromex. Right, is there a special enemy, really, that requires Necromex? No. Operators. Right, is there a special operator level? No.
Yeah.
What else we got? I know there's more. You know, what about Arcwings in environmental zones? Okay, cool. Is there an event or a mission that requires Arcwings in the open environment areas? No. K-Drive! Right, okay. Is there some really cool K-Drive missions or K-Drive leagues or something? No. It's just like, come
There
on.
are K-Drive leagues.
Not real ones.
Okay, fine. Okay, what about you, Loz?
What?
With the questions that I just asked
What were the
about
questions?
Bear.
What question?
What, you mean you weren't paying attention?
No.
You mean you just wow, and you just interjected and you didn't even know what you were interjecting over.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's
Okay.
fair.
Well, because it's easier to listen to someone else and debate on a point rather than remember.
No. I'm entirely teasing you.
No, it was
Like,
legacy
I'm trying
content.
to remember what I asked.
You're asking about the legacy content and what I would like to see in, what should add. And yeah, I think everything Bear said was great. That it's like, it's getting a bit stale. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Okay. So moving on to the last point. And lastly, some of the new augments were announced. They are not planning on coming for 30.7. They are for Lavos, Zaku, and Trinity. Lavos gets an augment for his Ophidian Bite.
Yep.
Wow, I can't believe I got that. That will reduce cooldowns for other abilities if you hit more than a set number of enemies at once, plus a flat range increase for Ophidian Bite. Zaku has 2 augments. Like, to be honest, that's actually really appealing to me, and I'm kind of wondering, like, why isn't that just baseline?
Maybe it'll part of that will become baseline, and then the augment will make it better. That's how it normally goes.
Zaku has 2 augments coming. First for Grasp of Lock, which heals Zaku when the ability hits enemies influenced by the Lost. One for the Lost itself that provides a stacking bonus for casting all 3 abilities in sequence, while the bonus is removed if you cast the same ability twice in a row. I think I read that out correctly. Buffs, right? And Trinity will get a blessing augment that will increase crit chance for the guns based on how much you heal allies. This will refresh and increase to a cap value with repeated casts.
Yay, more healer chicken.
Oh my god, at least you can't just heal someone from being downed. Which Warframe will get that first? Right. So yeah, that's
My
it
dog.
for...
Sorry, what?
That's it for the dev stream. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add about the augments. No?
I'm really excited to see Lavos and Zaku augments. Because I feel like they'll give like I guess kind of a little bit of a different play style to what they do now. But Trinity, I'm not really a big fan of augments that are like, oh, use this ability and you get this crit chance buff for this amount of time. So,
Loz?
Sorry, Nox just crashed on me. I'm back. Yeah. What was the question?
How do you feel about the augments?
Yeah, this is good. This is good. It's good. Gonna wait to see.
Cool.
It almost does feel though, things like the Zaku, as you're saying, baseline. I remember one of the reasons, like, oh, Zaku finds it hard to heal, so we're adding an augment that allows it to heal. It's like, firstly, if we go back and look at those Valkyrie augments, they're looking rather weak now, and this is how healing on these other abilities is really strong. But also, it almost gets to the point you feel like should I play Yareli now, or just wait till the augments come out to actually play the frame and everything it can do?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think part of the problem is that without players playing the frames in their incomplete step, in their incomplete stage, DE won't know how to improve the frames to the way the player base will be happy with. Yeah,
well, I don't think they always consult the player base when they come out of augment, so sometimes, but not always.
Anywho, right. So all in all, do we want to say our conclusive thoughts and feels about the dev stream? I mean, we briefly spoke about them at the start. Or should we just go straight to graphs?
I feel after going through all that, my point hasn't changed. There's still some cool stuff in there that I look forward to coming back. Like Plaguestar and some cool content. Like, yes, not next Prime Access is just take my money. There's some cool premium skins, augments on the horizon. But I really felt I'm really mean to be mean because it's nice to have a dev stream again. To summarize this in one sentence, I felt this was the dev stream equivalent of key jangling.
Key jangling?
Yeah, like you get keys and go jangle, 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 jangle.
To what avail?
To a baby to make it happy.
Shiny
key jangling. You know, keys.
Right.
Look at shiny keys. Shiny keys.
I mean, you may remember your experiences as a baby. I certainly don't. So I can't tell you if that's effective or not.
I don't remember my experiences as a baby, but I've seen it be a thing that can entertain babies as in my adult self, and see people use it to much effect. And it's also a thing. It's an actual term, key jangling. It is a known thing. Yes. It is the effect of getting, like, instead of giving any substance, you're just getting something shiny and distracting, and then waving it in front of someone. Key jangling. And that's what it was. I mean, I don't know anything I mean, but it's the first. I after TennoCon, I was like, I was kind of, we'll wait to what Steve says and let the first dev stream, and it's going to be amazing. And Steve's not here, and I'm like, oh god. It's like, it looks like this isn't coming out anytime soon. Let's jangle some keys.
I do feel that. I think Scott's. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I do feel Scott's outward expression basically told all that needed to be said. That, yeah, we're working hard at it. We need to give you this dev stream because otherwise you guys are going to get upset that we're not doing the dev streams. But there's nothing we can say.
I don't think it wasn't that it's like, I don't see it as upset you doing the dev streams. I see it as Sister's content is now falling off. We need to jangle some keys to keep the people entertained. Look what we've got. We've got several weekends of for the next 2 months. They've never done anything like this before. They're normally very sparing with the weekends. We've got 2 months of weekends. We've got updates, which are consisting mainly of skin. Nothing wrong with this. This is all good stuff. Like, skins, Prime Access, really cool stuff. And the main focus of it was a repeat event that they just haven't brought back in a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, and a weapon, which is going in the event, which is cool. It was all good stuff, but it felt like a Tenno reinforcement from back in the day, not a, hey, this is post TennoCon, let's shake it up a bit and open up some things and get you guys hyped for it. It's like, yeah, because normally, think about it, when it was like Planes and they announced TennoCon at Planes, it's like, oh, we're going to get Planes to you really soon. We're going to try, we really want to get in your hands. It's going to be amazing. Whereas this was kind of, as you said, with Scott, it was like, I ain't saying nothing. She's like, it's ready when it's done. Arms folded. And meh. What is wrong with my arm? Back here, you. What are you doing? There we go. That's what you get. Meh. Arms folded. Meh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Goof?
Fair.
I agree with Laws. Is just kind of one of those. Oh, here's the shiny new toys that that you're going to be able to see real soon. But what you're really looking for, we can't say anything about because we're keeping hush hush. One thing that I do kind of wish that they kind of dabbled on was crossplay Because like they went a little bit onto talking about the mobile version of Warframe, which I figured, there isn't going to be anything soon about like, release date or whatever. But I feel like we have a lot more questions on crossplay and like how that's going to work with, all, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, mobile. So I feel like they need to dabble on that a little bit more, but they said nothing in regards to it.
I ask you about it. You make a point about that. Which do you think is going to come first, mobile or crossplay, after this dev stream?
Mobile.
I agree with Xeno.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah. If you asked me before, like I would have probably said crossplay, and I thought mobile was on the horizon. But now,
Really?
Yeah. I thought crossplay is just a lot. A lot of the crossplay stuff isn't actually that hard. It's the main tricky thing is getting Sony to bloody agree to it. Is the trickiest thing. It really is.
Yeah.
Sony just there. But so what?
No, I reckon crossplay and mobile will happen exactly the same time.
Oh, okay. I think I thought crossplay was going to happen way before mobile. Maybe at the same time, if not mobile first. I'm on more now.
Well, I mean, you just imagine how many PC players would just go, "Oh, look at it! I could play Warframe on mobile. Oh, check it out!" But if mobile comes out way before and crossplay is on the quote-unquote horizon, right?
You make your point. Yeah. If you release a new platform, it's like, oh, we'll have to do some copy migration stuff because crossplay still on the horizon. Yeah. Point. Wouldn't want to do that. Tricky. Oh well. We'll have to see. Oh, I thought of a new analogy.
Okay.
Okay. So all I wanted from this dev stream was a couple of bread crumbs for the new war. We didn't really get any. Instead, we got the leftovers and scraps from Tenno. I mean, a lot of it was the reusing of the things that didn't work, which they said they were going to just do the next weekend, and they saved it to a dev stream. And then
No, they said the next dev stream.
No, on the day of TennoCon, they were said maybe we can do this next weekend.
I remember them saying
They did do that.
I trust you. Cool. Right, should we move on to the graphs? We should run out. Yeah, cool. Right. So, the first graph that is in front of you, lovely gentlemen, is do you ever find yourself in a situation during survival or ESO where there are no enemies to kill? 12% said never, 20% said frequently, and 68% rather, said rarely. Bear?
If I remember correctly, I think I voted rarely. Because I do tend to find myself sometimes coming across playing with players who tend to use like big AoE weapons like the Kuva Brahma and the Tsar or the Kuva Tsar variant, and it just kind of it's kind of like I'm playing with kill hogs, and so it's kind of hard to find enemies to actually sit there and play. So I'll every once in a while just plant myself somewhere and wait for enemies to spawn in front of me, and then go on to play the game.
Okay. Loz, do you want to turn off the topics? Cool. What about you, Loz? Where are you on this?
I think rarely is the best one on that, because you see, let's say you did 8 waves, there might be like, depends on the tile and the mobs you're fighting, but I'd say rarely. It's like 1 out of every 8, I'd say. And it, as Bear was saying, sometimes it's because someone's, you've come in, you come in the game, you're like, okay, I just want to shoot things today or hit things with melee, and then that's not really compatible with the person who's exploding the whole map.
Okay, well, I think that even rarer than that, I find it. Should we move on to the next one? When you're playing in a pubby group, do you try to stick together? 16% said no, and 84% said yes.
Okay.
I said yes to this only because of like spawn rates and spawn locations. Like if you go too far from each other, they tend to put the spawn rooms like far across the map, So you're having to wait for enemies to either come to you. But if you tend to stay together, you get them to spawn in specific rooms, and so you're able to keep up your, your KPS and your GPS. So
I just realised my my Bluetooth headset is fucking with the mouse.
Oh.
So whenever you guys talk, I can't move my mouse because they're both
very
on
useful
Bluetooth.
feature.
Yes.
Are they
very,
going into
very
the same Bluetooth adapter or something?
No, not the
Weird.
slightest. And one's on the front of the machine, one's on the back of the machine.
Could you put one into USB 3.0 and one into USB 2.0?
I have no idea, probably. But even so, I don't think it'll make a blind bit of difference.
No, but
anyway,
it does,
regardless
because of the way USB drivers work, they group them.
Well, one's the front of the machine, one's the back of the machine, so they're not grouped.
Yeah, you say that. They still can be grouped.
I've never seen...
Yeah, I can promise you, because that's
the front has a separate bus.
Sometimes doesn't make a difference. That's what happened with my when I was trying to do the PSI cameras on my old machine. I had to do one of the front USBs and then like mad arrangement on the back.
Okay. Anyway, right. So let's move on to the next one, which is what was the longest consecutive amount of time you had to grind for something? Right. 8% said that they didn't know. Another 8% said less than 5 hours. 12% said between 5 and 10 hours. 28% said between 10 and 20 hours. And 44% said 20 hours. Where would you guys sit?
More than 20.
yeah, more than 20.
Hmm.
And the
And
only thing I
then-
was really farming for was the necromechs and the broken parts for the necromech weapons. There we go.
Cool. So it was really interesting how everyone had put in for that grouping and that clustering. Yet, if you go to the next one,
Yeah.
that's the wrong slide. Why is that? Which one did you press?
5.
No, 4.
Oh,
4.
Oh, is it my
Right.
Oh, you.
There's no 5th. There's no 5th.
Okay.
Right. So the nearly everyone said their own separate thing. So only 2 people said Cora, right? And just to quickly blitz through the things.
4% went to.
No, I'm just going to blitz through everything. So, the Kuva Dragoon, Ambassador. Oh, another one said Ambassador just bought it. Bratton Vandal, Steel Essence and the Arcanes, Necromex, Equinox, Vandal Weapons from Invasions, Cora, Current Ash Grind. I can only assume that's Ash Prime.
No, Ash.
Trinity.
Ash doesn't
The
have
Manics?
Yeah.
Surely the Manics spawn really frequently in one place.
Yeah, but you have to get all 4 drops. And where?
Didn't they move Oberon and Ash to Railjack missions?
They moved Oberon.
Did they?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they moved both
Ash.
of them.
Ash. Oh yeah, no, Ash is now on. He's on loads of different Proximas now. And
Oh, jeez.
Oberon, I think, as well. I definitely remember Oberon being moved.
Oh, okay. So current Ash Grind, Trinity Harrow, Broken War, not from the quest, Terillium. That's easy to get from the underwater tile set.
Who wants to do Sharkwing though?
No, you don't have to do Sharkwing.
Who wants to go near Sharkwing?
Broken War Blueprint, Zephos, Omni Ammo Box, Mesa Prime, Corrupted Hollow Keys pre-patch, Cora, Harrow Chassis, Wolf Sledge, Focus Schools. So that's what everyone has said. So there are actually more overlaps, but because of the way people said things, They wouldn't stack. So, but yes. Cool. Then I asked the question, which you don't have a graph for. What items in which games took you the longest to grind for? And, so please list both the item and the game. So, just to go through some of them. So one of them is the Irident Pearl from Risk of Rain 2, Shadowmourne from World of Warcraft. Some people said, Protea, took me 4 days to get her. Octavia Neural Sensors, 60 hours, 30,000 Chaotic for a Cold Hammer. Keeping with Warframe, the Wolf Sledge. Apparently, this player that was trying to get the Wolf Sledge was on hiatus during the first night wave, so now they're trying to do it through beacons, and they haven't had a single part.
Ouch.
Equinox, the Ore Ship Orca in EVE Online, Shocking Step Ephemera, Immortal Reactor from Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Friends in VR chat. So I know which one Loz is. Rod of Discord in Terraria. Mythic armor / weapons in Arcade. Gibbering Gemstone in Diablo 3. Apparently they left a comment.
Yes.
Someone put the Paracesis? I thought you just got given that. Do you have to build that? I know I have it. I swear you just got given it.
Maybe they meant from the start of the game?
Maybe. Smoking Body Ephemera, Hema. Well, just go find a guild that already has it. Sorry, a clan that already has it. Siren Prime's chassis from Void Keys. Approximately 24 hours before I gave up and bought it. It was on rotation C. Shield Jewel 2 from Monster Hunter. And Vidmaster trophies to get the Recon armor in Halo 3 and ODST.
The Paracesis does take 5 Eidolon shards and 1,000 ducats, and a Galatine and 15 Orokin cells. So there's some things in there, but nothing too much.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Maybe if you don't kill Eidolons. If you don't kill Eidolons, that'd be a lot of work.
I mean, how many Eidolon shards?
5.
That's 5 terror lists.
You don't, but if you find them hard to, maybe if you have problems loading into the planes, or you have to do them solo.
Yes. Yes. What did you put down, Bear?
I think I answered that question, but like my longest farm would have to be probably the Necromex. I think I just ended up giving up doing the isolation vaults and just buying the parts off of other players before you could buy them out of the market.
I kind of want to say, stop talking, I can't move my mouse. Actually, you didn't answer that question. You left it blank.
Okay.
But the previous one, you said Necromex. Right, okay, so that's it for the questions from last week. Let's move on to the supporter questions.
So first, we have Zrugal. Before I read out Zrugal's question, I just want to ask our lovely audience to smash that like button and comment down below. I promise we read each and every comment. Zrugal would like to know what you think the current pseudo-plat economy going on in the game right now with people trading arcanes instead of platinum. I just made that. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Okay.
Wait, what?
So Zrugal would like to know what you think the current pseudo-plat economy going on in the game right now with people trading arcanes instead of platinum.
So people are using arcanes as a form of currency?
Yeah, instead of platinum. I mean, we haven't had Scarlet Spear for like freaking ages, you know. So, and the other one was the one at Christmas, which gave us a lot of arcanes. But now that those are long behind, getting arcanes is a lot harder now. You need to put a lot more effort in. So if they're, why spend plat if you could just trade arcanes? You need like 10, remember? Or is it more? I can't remember how many bloody arcanes you need now. So many.
I mean,
Some of them are 10 and some of them are 21.
I'm surprised people aren't trading the arcanes for platinum. But again, like I don't see a problem with this. Things are going to go up and down in value. It's it's very interesting more than anything else.
Would you do it?
If I had the arcanes, sure.
What
But
would
I
you trade for them?
don't. Well, that's the thing though. Like I have no idea because I'm just like, well, I have all of the platinum. Maybe ephemeras, like from specific oh shit, what are they called? Sisters or liches. So, but anyway, yeah, that's just really interesting. Next one.
I just made that up to mess with Xeno, but don't read this part out loud until after his reaction.
Was that Zrugel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So there was no.
Yeah,
no
fair enough. I mean, I thought it weird anyway.
Thalian says, with all intent to make Xeno a little more salty, what do you guys think of Scott confirming, after the Tenno scream seeming to deconfirm, that the new war is actually only the first chapter in a 3-part story?
I am not interpreting that way. If
yeah,
that's
I think he
the
walked
case,
it back, and that I think what he's implying, because I was saying earlier from what you said, that I bet you the whole bit when you're playing with the 3 people is part 1 of 3 in the quest, as the quest drops, the whole thing is what he meant, but he's had to walk it back because, or being very careful about it, because it's going to confuse people and people will compare it to the bloody parts we've had before.
I was trying to see if I could actually find the names of the 3 acts, but I can't easily. I've got this masterclass statement. Do you want me to quickly read it aloud?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Act 1, the first act typically starts with the exposition, one or more scenes that establish the world and story. If the story contains supernatural elements, the rules of the supernatural world will be established here. This act also establishes the ordinary world of the story's main character. Before the act is over, however, an inciting incident should occur. Yeah, it does say inciting. One that pulls the protagonist out of their normal world and into the main action of the story. The act concludes with some sort of turning point that launches the action into Act 2. Act 2, the story's middle act consists of rising action that leads to a midpoint, then devolves into a crisis. Let's say a story is about a detective who is tracking the killer of her murdered partner. Act 1, inciting the incident, would be her partner's murder, and then the turning point would be her decision to track the killer. Thus, the rising action of Act 2 would involve the sleuthing she must do to track down the murderer. Act 2 will raise the stakes. I will understand how rise and raise works at some point. Raise the stakes of the protagonist's journey, perhaps revealing the danger to which she's exposing herself. But the story's midpoint, the detective would be fully immersed in her journey. The second act typically ends with another turning point that makes it seem as if the protagonist will fail. This is sometimes called the dark night of the soul. Perhaps our detective has gotten too close to the killer and has been wounded by one of his henchmen, allowing him to escape. Act 3, the third act begins with what's known as the pre-climax. This consists of events leading up to a climactic confrontation, which the hero faces a point of no return. They must either prevail or perish. In our detective story, perhaps our hero has regained the trail of the killer and has traced him to a safe house. That should be tracked. This launches us into the actual climax where the detective apprehends the killer, either taking him into custody or killing him. Finally, the story de-escalates into a... Oh my god, I have no idea how you pronounce that. How the hell do you pronounce...
Send it to me?
Yeah, I'm going to send it to both of you because I mean I'm like, oh crap, that's not how you copy. So I'm too Control C B.
Denouement?
Denouement? What the fuck does denouement mean?
You posted it.
Where the events of the climax wind back into a normal life. Of course, the hero detective's life will never be the same again. So that's like the 3-act structure of a story, and that is why I think the use of the word act implies that this is just the 3 parts of the narrative, and we only saw part of Act 1.
Denouement,
right?
the final part of a play, film, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved. Alternative, the outcome of a situation when something is decided or made clear.
Right. Well, there you go.
Well, after your very long and complicated explanation of acting, can I explain the Loz version of acts?
If you want.
Act 1, problem appears. Act 2, filler. Act 3, problem resolved. End credit scene.
I think that's the Star Wars sequel trilogy
Marvel
approach.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I mean, there's not like there's much conclusions in some of the Marvel stuff recently.
End credit scene.
Anyway. Act 1, Act 2, end.
Act 1, pointless. Act 2, pointless. Act 3, pointless. End credit scene.
Right. Okay. Is that it? So yes. Was there any other support questions?
Yes. Yes, there was from Alien. With all intent to make Loz a little more salty, what do you guys think of DE previewing yet another deluxe skin that appears to be wearing a jacket? This one possibly even more ridiculous than the Zephyr Harrier jacket. Can we just have Goku drip frame skin already? With his puffer jacket. Just put it in game. Just be done with it. Done with it. Make me cry.
Oh, brilliant.
Yep.
Cool. Are we done with that then?
Yep.
Okay, should we move on to the community responses from last week?
Okay. Yeah. So, techniques are... Warframe new quest made me stop playing the game. I can't believe they still add stupid shit like that. Half-baked trash with no purpose, no polish whatsoever. It makes me sad.
So, the new quest?
I assume it must be the... Ebastari.
Huh?
Which, yeah, I mean, the thing to appreciate about it, and I felt, not this bit poisonous then and too negative, but when I started appreciating how quickly they made that quest, I actually went, oh, okay, so yeah, there was a few holes, like, oh no, fire the missiles that will destroy the ship. I'm just going to point my ship away and shoot them over there. I aimed that way. So it's like, it's a bit, yeah, it's a ham-fisted, but yeah. But so sorry about that, techniques are. I just hope you stay around because hopefully the new war will be good stuff. Yeah.
To be honest, though, I do feel that they didn't establish enough of the world setting and things for Tempestari. We all asked the question, what the hell's the Crucia platform? We never know. We'll never know. We'll never know. One day we'll turn around and say, now we know, but realistically, we'll never know.
What did you think of Call of Tempestari, Bear?
I think it was all right. Like you said, there was a little, holes in the quest where it didn't make sense. Like, like the Lucretia platform. But other than that, I thought it was an okay quest. I do wonder though, is the person maybe potentially talking about the Ureli quest? Because all it is doing certain K-Drive stuff, and then you get a little comic strip, and then you do that for 3 or 4 different times, and then boom, you're done.
I'll give you that. To be honest, I thought the lore narrative for the Ureli quest was actually quite well put together, but I didn't like the fact that you had to realistically already have K-Drive at its peak in order to be able to do it easily, or cheese the shit out of it.
Okay, lots of people were actually talking about the spawning mechanics. I was surprised that the graph actually was negative, but I'll just read one from Thomas Cooperstein. Topic 1, enemies not spawning. Here is a picture. Syndicate disruption. You go in, kill a few mobs, and none replace those mobs. You literally run out of mobs before the first key drops. 10 minutes later, still no mobs, restart. Kill 20 mobs, no more spawn. That's what they're talking about. It's a bug. No mobs mean no keys drop. No keys drop mean you can't finish 4 conduits to complete the mission. You can find all the Syndicate medallions, but don't get to keep them because you can't finish a conduit because no keys drop, because there are exactly 0 enemies on the entire map beyond the 20 starting enemies. Sounds like a bug, but yeah.
I completely agree and appreciate, Thomas Cooperstein, your point. However, the topic did explicitly state survival and Elite Sanctuary.
Okay then. I'll give one from the Betza. About enemies not spawning happens to me in solo survival. There are a few enemies first 2 to 5 minutes. In PoE, I failed. Oh, again, I picked one that's not about that. There was one more. Okay, so Peter Grave, topic 1. I agree with this topic. There are spawning issues we do to increase level at least 10 additional units. So the biggest issue is unit pathing. DE themselves have admitted there are multiple tile sets that units have issues navigating. Lua is a perfect example. DE had to add timers to despawn Demolishers Demolists because they would get lost and be unable to pathfind to their target. They do have a feature where the units are despawned and respawned near the player, but this only works in certain game modes like capture and sabotage. This needs to be expanded to endless game modes. There you go.
Yeah.
Nick Evans did explain the thing you were talking about last week. The tactic you mentioned that Mogamo used, for example, was created by that testing node and relied on the fact that Excalibur's exalted blades waves went through walls. So you could place yourself where exalted blade could hit most enemies as they converged on you. By the way, the nerf on that was that EB's waves were given damage fall off, since the tactic was actually after Mag's greedy pill got nerfed.
Right.
Oh, just a few more. Well, one more from Scribble C, because I know you complain about Diablo time, so you can enjoy poor Scribble C's though. When thinking of the longest grind for myself, I shudder at the thought of one item: Diablo 3's Gibbering Gemstone. An item required to create a staff to go to a secret level. Reap of Souls had come out, friends enjoying it, while I only had vanilla D3, but still played. Grinding the gemstone was long, since you can only find it on a rare drop from one enemy that spawns only in a cave. There's a 50% chance to spawn somewhere on a large open plain. Weeks I grind for it with no avail. Found it not even patched at the time to up its drop rate, and many complaints from other users. Then finally dropped early morning, and the rush of relief was absolute. A day later, a patch had released that made the drop rate for the damn stone nearly guaranteed. Relief turned into melancholy, and I said, F it, and moved on since I'd just gotten the expansion the same day. A ting of hatred always fester in my mind when I hear gibbering or gemstone.
Yeah, I know what he's referring to, because it was to get to the secret cow level.
Yeah.
But annoyingly, the secret cow level before the expansion was the best content to get the best rewards after you completed all the acts. With the expansion, with the guaranteed chance of getting that rod that allowed you to go there, they then brought it to the weakest place to get the resources.
So it just became a joke.
It just became an utter joke, and it's just fuck you so much. Yeah.
You asked last week about people how far they got in Sanctuary Onslaught. So Nico Muller said longest ESO mission was 10 waves. Peter Graves said my ESO max was 14. Google said somewhere around 9. And lastly, last stage, you saying you didn't put the link in for Kanpai Cast. So Strong Michelle replied with, "Oh, nice, my favorite podcast." Edit. "Oh yeah, that anime podcast you guys are doing. Should I have searched for Kanpai Cast?" Edit 2. I found it. I was just like, well done, Strong Michelle. Good to know that you found it. Good to know.
Good.
Right, that's it from that. So
Cool. Now we move on to the memes, don't we? So just got to get the time. I think that's 49. It's kind of hard to tell because Lars, stop talking. Lars, stop talking. Because every single time you talk, my mouse stops working, and as a result, I can't copy and paste the stupid things to bear. Though my mouse is still giving me shit. Come on, mouse. Oh my god. There we go. Oh my god, come on. I can't. Hold on, where's Alt Tab? There we go. Alt Tab. B. There we go. I can do it with keyboard. No hands. I was like, sure, whatever.
We done?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can talk again.
Quick bear, keep talking so I can't. I was gonna say.
Oh my god, I can't click on them.
Don't let him click on anything. Right, hell, let's start with some memes. So all these memes, as you want to know, come from the r/memeframe subreddit. Links are in the description of this video, along with the secret meme, which is always a video, which I find to be hilariously fun. So meme number 1 for this week, good, is POV, you opened a radiant relic. Whoever in DE that put former blueprint in silver drop arrives in hell. Satan. Well, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan. Yep. I mean, why is it in common and... Anyway. Meme number 2. Yep. Warframe. More like war crimes. Some Warframe players. But we are the good guys. Warframe players, every time they see a mod that can cause 2% more suffering on poor Grenier.
when does Trunks look that psychotic?
I have no idea. It might be in like a pass through, like he's flying up as he flies past the camera or something.
Yeah.
It's just a mid frame or something, so it looks so weird, so crazy. Meme number 3. Well, the in-game market says so, so it's true, right? An old war battleship used by the Tenno to annihilate the Grenier and Corpus fleets is worth 4 space rumbas. Until we meet again!
What?
So, a railjack is worth 400 platinum. A Roomba is worth 100 platinum. 4 Roombas equals intergalactic spaceship of death and war.
But what's with the until we... I don't understand what the thing with
like,
Skeletor is.
So it's a 2-4 meme where it's just like, here's something absolutely crazy, and I'm just going to walk off and leave you with this absolute insane statement.
Okay, yep. Seems totally legit.
Okay. Okay, this is for people who don't use Reddit won't understand this, but occasionally Reddit asks you about the subreddits you're viewing to kind of assess what's the content of them.
Yeah.
So whatever machine learning they're using is working pretty well, I'd say. Does r/memeframe contain graphic surgeries or procedures?
Clearly.
Right, from that highbrow meme to a simple lowbrow meme of Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Jason Momoa.
Yep. Do you want to say it again?
Jason Momoa. Very nice. And then finally, I say
oh
this
my
the
god!
end because it's me and
god, no! Oh dear God!
Sometimes quite difficult to explain. Why do you need 100 hours for the game to get good? You wouldn't get it. By the way, I'm totally not stalking Josh Strife Hayes and checking his playtime every single day and recording it. He hasn't logged in a while. I'm still watching him.
Is he still doing Warframe videos?
No, no. He's done his worst MMO thing. He hasn't done a generalized video in a while, but I'm sure he'll come back. I'll be waiting. Getting ready. Yes, but anyway, it's like, he wouldn't get it because it's like, you got to play 100 hours to understand, that's why Warframe gets good. You won't get the joke. Anyway, that is the memes. So we will now be very silent. We're going to take a moment of silence and clarity. Everyone the memes are finished. Let's reflect on those memes.
I love Alt-Tab. Alt-Tab makes my life so much easier. Cool. Right. So time to do the community shoutouts.
Cool.
So, right. So the first community shoutout is Mouse. Come on, Mouse. There we go. Nidus Prime by WW.
Duang.
Yep. So yeah, Nidus
Was-
Prime on the way.
I'm still not sold on Nidus Prime. I'm gonna have to see him in game. It still feels weird to me. But then I'm not a big fan of Nidus anyway. So
I tried playing him again earlier in the week, and I was just like, "How do I do this again?" I knew how to do this at one point. I just don't remember how to do it anymore.
how about you, Bear?
Yeah, like the Nidus Prime aesthetic, I feel is, I don't know, something's off about it, but I'm cool with the gameplay of Nidus.
But that Necromech though.
But the Necromech though.
The Necromech. Yeah, honestly, they're like, people might not like this Nidus thing. Maybe we should package it with something. Necromech skin looks amazing. Here is all of my money.
The second community shout out is this Teshin figure by Ronin Yen. Loz is going in for the close inspection. He's
I can't figure out what they use the base for. It's really good.
What you mean? How they've actually what they used as the base, right? Okay.
Yeah. Like it looks so familiar. The leg armor. Oh well.
Looks pretty awesome. The third community shout out is Inueli's Footsteps by Super Ferret. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Super Ferret, yeah, Super Ferret.
Yeah. I do not know what the other Warframe is. I kind of want to say it's an Nyros, but at the same time, a Gauss.
No, it's the Nyros with the Anubis skin, and then the chest plate, as you see, that's the Wolf of Saturn 6 chest plate. That's why it looks so different.
But the legs and the arms, if you look at so there's a follow-on image where you see just that Warframe. It has like thrusters and things on its arms and legs, or is that just the skin?
This part of the skin.
Yeah,
fair enough. Cool.
But no, this is just cool. No, I love this image. It is awesome. It's the kind of like how, I don't know, when I grew up in the countryside, so in houses you'd occasionally have like over behind your city or something a nice countryside landscape picture. It'd just be green or whatever, and you could probably see a farm and some houses or whatever. Like I would just want that. It's got the same level of just warmth that it brings. I know it's got a velocipod in there, but I just love it. I just absolutely love that image. It's awesome.
Yep. The fourth community shout out is Protector of the Plains Gara Prime by a name I didn't write down because I'm a numpty.
Frosty.
I think it's
Frosty Nova Prime. That is some sweet Gara Prime. I have Gara Prime. I should play Gara Prime.
Cool. The fifth community shout out is the Copter Backpack by Malaya. This is getting some very perplexing grunting noises from Loz.
Why did they put that on a Sarin? It should go on a Hildren. Let's be
No,
fair.
It's just a test, Loz. So
I know, but come on, the hover mode.
Yeah. But anyway, hopefully this Tenno gen will actually make it into the game because it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I really do hope it will collapse like that.
I think it'll have to when you aim.
Yeah.
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 Which I don't know will that get a bit annoying?
Nah, I mean it's fine for the butterfly wings. I mean,
Okay.
oh my god, I remember the butterfly wings. They wouldn't close and just periodically you couldn't see anything. Like, oh, that's a nice wing. It's pretty cool. Right?
Pretty.
The 6th community shout out is this. I want to say Gauss Samurai, because I honestly can't. I don't know how you pronounce IU. So, by LED 2012, I strongly recommend you go check this one out. Look on the Steam community page for it, because I thought that the screenshot I'm showing here was one of 2 heads. Like, no, that's the 2 different forms of the head, because when he goes into like fancy speed mode or whatever, red line. So that I love this design.
Unicorn Gundam.
Anyway,
I doubt we're ever going to get the Unicorn Gundam sort of like for Gauss, but that'll be amazing. But this is just so cool. Both the normal version and the open version are just awesome. They really. I would love to see it from the back though, but this is really good. I love it. I'd love to play Gauss more. I love the concept of Gauss, but that's just cool. Gauss needs more of this. This is just so cool. Yep.
Cool. Well, that's it for the community shout-outs. Bear, it's been absolutely lovely having you on the show, regardless of the fact that I keep on wanting to say Ben.
One day we will find this Ben who we've lost.
I know exactly who it is.
Who is Ben?
I can't tell you that.
He knows.
I can't reveal it to the internet.
Plot thickens.
But regardless, Ben, absolutely lovely having you on.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
I just wish, well, we have to have you back on again another time, because it's like, sometimes dev streams, especially this one, I just find it's like, we're just like, look at, do we find this stuff to be cool? Yes, all this stuff was cool. Good. It's like, it wasn't much meat we could really get into chewing about, like, is this an interesting update to the game? How would we all discuss this? Let us debate. It's just kind of like, do you like this skin? Yes, I do like this skin. But, it was still lovely having you on, man.
I appreciate it.
Damn it! It's spreading! I've been infected now. I'm calling him Ben. No. Why? I'll have to kill Xeno to figure out the secret.
Gonna hit the off button.
Oh, you want to hit the off button? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, where's the off button?
Oh my God.